Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to How I Play Now episode 3. Today I'm going to be talking about Assassin's Creed 3 and Hitman Absolution, and let's just get right on into it. Assassin's Creed 3 is obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, because it's weird, because it is the 5th game in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. A little different for some, but hey, Ezio had his long-ass run, and now we're going to say goodbye to him and move on to Connor in the colonial America period. I have to say that so far, from the beginning, from the get-go, graphically, this game looks completely good. I mean, all of them have looked really good, but, you know, for colonial period time and the way they set things up, everything looks very pristine and very nice in this game. Controls are pretty good. They're a little bit stiff at some points. You basically have about 2 buttons for weapons and fighting. The rest of them are usually for dodging and moving and counters. But, you know, it's pretty much essentially not too different from the other Assassin's Creed games, given like maybe 2 and Brotherhood. I never actually played Revolution. The world is very big, as it always has been in these types of games. They look completely awesome. Getting out into the forest actually look really great, and running from the trees kind of makes you feel a little like a monkey, but obviously all in all looks really good and flows very well. You get to do a wide variety of things out in that world, such as taking down enemies, obviously the redcoats, or actually going hunted, or in some cases being hunted yourself. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It has a little bit of a crafting movement to it. Not too big, not too, let's say, Minecrafty as it were, but obviously picking up pelts and whatnot can get you money, or you can craft them into items. If you actually get up into the bigger side quests of hunting, you'll actually get some really big gear that actually, I think, helps you out. The game has other side quests too, which some don't range from the very tedious to some of the completely awesome. I think the most tedious would be chasing down Thomas Jefferson's papers, and the most awesome of all side quests is actually doing any of the ship battle missions, where you actually get to go out at sea, commanding an entire ship and taking out your enemies as you go. Feels completely great. The world is massive, the world is huge, it just looks great. It's a lot of fun to run around. When you actually get into the movement of controls, everything feels very fluid, all the way from fighting to actually jumping and maneuvering around the world. It feels like a hell of a lot of fun. It is great. The storyline is about as typical Assassin's Creed game goes. You know, it's just a continuation of what's been going on in the actual numbered versions of the game. And it's great. I mean, there's a couple things I'll actually have to say aside from actually the controls being stiff. You'll probably notice that the game is a bit buggy. You'll run into things where characters might just pop in or not kind of actually react or maneuver properly, or, you know, it kind of seems a little bit of a broken AI, but it is not too game-breaking. It actually isn't as bad to actually can take you completely out of the game. Still feels fun as hell, even though sometimes you might run into a completely undone NPC. But hey, you know, for as big as the game is and everything that you can actually do in it, it's a lot of fun. Stealthing is still there, taking out your enemies in different ways, giving you options. There's still a whole lot of options to take someone out is still there. Some of the new gadgets are a whole hell of a lot of fun to take people out with. I would say that this game, all in all, even given some of its little inclines, it's a great game. It really is a lot of fun. It's worth picking up. I would say definitely check it out. If you've played Assassin's Creed games before, you're going to love this version of the game, despite some of its flaws, which could either irk or not irk you, depending on how hardcore you are. Or if you've never played any Assassin's games before, I would say this one would definitely be a first one that would be good to get into and check it out. It's a lot of fun. And the next game I'm going to talk about is Hitman Absolution, and I have to say that I played a few Hitman games in my life before, and I'm going to have to actually say that this one I was not impressed with at all. You are continuing your story of Agent 47, however this time you've gone rogue against the agency for fear that they may have actually done something to you. Storyline in itself seems a little thin. Game looks very good. Game looks graphically as impressive as probably, well, more of the newer games that have come out. So look, the way it looks and the way it feels is very, very nice. However, my probably biggest issue with it is the areas that you do go in to do your assassinations feel very constrained. They feel small, like tiny rat races that you're trying to get through. just to get to the piece of cheese and move on to the next one. You know, the storyline doesn't really connect it too well with the characters you're killing, so it feels like you're just going into a box, doing what you need to do, and then move on. Not that much fun to me. There's also an iteration in the game, spoiler alert if anybody's watching, so it'll take about 30 seconds out. There's a point where you have to actually run from the cops, and the running cops series is just not a lot of fun. I mean, while the game is based on being stealthy, you know, the other ones allowed you actually to do a lot more with the game and how you played with it. Sure, it penalized you if you did it wrong, but you had a lot more fun sometimes just messing about and taking care of things your own way. And this game, when it comes down to these cop chases, kind of constrains you into these little small linear aspects, linear places where all you're trying to do is avoid the police, and it just became kind of rather tedious and not fun to me. Which kind of could say the whole game in general, because, you know, after a while I just got sick of doing what it wanted me to do and just started taking care of things my own way. You can still do that, however the game does penalize you pretty drastically if you're doing that. And the other bad part about the game is when you're actually in a boss battle, taking care of any type of boss is seemingly no different from taking any other character out in the game. There's no satisfaction. It doesn't feel gratifying when you actually take out main bosses on your objectives, and it just doesn't feel that much fun. I know they're trying to put in a bit of realism aspect to this, and at the same time try to balance it to make it kind of fun, but that part of it just isn't. I mean, if you're a fan of the Hitman games, you might check it out, but I would say it's going to be very disappointing for anybody else. I wouldn't even recommend this game. It is just not nearly as fun as I had hoped it would be. And that's all I have for episode 3. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Hit the thumb button if you like me, or if you don't like me, let me know what's going on. And until the next one, bye.